Alright guys, here to talk about the movie Basket Case. 1982's Basket Case, Lee. Had you seen it before?
I had not. I think it was one that I'd seen clips of or something. I knew, like, there's something in that basket. I didn't know that, like, any of the details or background. I kind of liked it.
No, it's not bad. It's
old,
outrageous.
It's weird. It's old, but like also weird. So I'm
Different
like, yes.
things were paid attention to in older movies
Absolutely.
that make them so much more fascinating nowadays, and we'll talk all about those.
That
in
is a
spoilers.
good. I was gonna say that is a good word, fascinating. Because yes, I wouldn't say like it was the most fun I've ever had, but it was certainly I enjoyed it on like some level. I would say.
Yeah, they're certainly not boring. They're odd, and that's interesting in itself.
It's curious. I would say it needs more. We need to put on the lab coats and work on this.
So if you've seen this, follow us with spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, Lee. So here are the spoilers of Basket Case. Let me hear them spoiler-filled thoughts.
I didn't hate it. I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
it
no,
was
of course.
It was weird. It was like old New York, the New York that like doesn't exist or never existed or always is in every movie from this time.
Yeah.
It's very funny. Where I'm like, the whole building comes out.
What happened? Somebody killed O'Donovan and they ripped him to pieces. They just carried him away.
When something happens and it's all these caricatures and like the people look like they're made of graffiti. It's this weird like what is happening? This is fake. This is great.
I won't even claim to know what that means, but I will agree the cast of characters that plays just side bit parts
Motley Crue
is the movie.
All right, get back to your rooms. Come on. Let's go. This ain't a goddamn subway station. We are just moving on here.
Like everyone is acting to the back row. They're like people just tell you on tangents their whole life story and just randomly hangs on them. Like the whole movie is just. It's a vibe. I have a bunch of characters I want to talk about. Hang on, let me just keep panning.
It's a vibe-based thing.
Why don't you in that picnic basket of yours join me at the back table? I've got some heavy boozing to do, and looks like you can use some good company. Come on.
Because the storyline is this weird goober shows up with a basket, and it's like, what's going on? And I'm like, yeah. And then the backstory and so much else. But the part that I liked was the part like the weird stuff in the city where he's like, well, I don't know what that is. And you're like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's
like,
a rube.
This goober is amazing, yeah.
You know, something you don't know, I'm sure, is we've been in the Basket Case Mansion before.
What?
A while back, a friend of mine was giving me a whole bunch of movies, and you helped me with that, and that is the mansion that this movie is filmed in.
There's a mansion?
The boy is how old now? 12?
You mean boys. There are two of them.
Boys. Yes, of course.
Interesting.
A little tidbit.
I'm going to think about where that would have been.
Like...
So the movie kind of just starts.
Yeah.
There's not really any setup, but it's just like, okay.
Hello. Can you send someone to? Hello. Hello.
And honestly, like when you look back toward the end, you're like, oh, that's what happened. Like it's very weird. Like the Basket Case man, the brother, what's his name? Like Gabriel? No, whatever his name is.
Dwayne?
Dwayne's the real one.
Yeah.
The one that's like his half. Whatever you want to call it.
So for a while, I just called him BC, like he was the Basket Case.
Yeah.
That's what I called him. But then they start to use his name, which is Belial.
Is that you, Belial?
Belial. That's why I couldn't remember because it's not a real name.
But that's like Pazuzu. I'm like, what the fuck? And then you're like, okay, did his parents name him like a demon's name because they were like, we don't like you, or
is that the name of like a skin growth in medical terms? I don't know.
I don't know. That's cray cray.
No, but that monster creature is weird.
If he's squirming around, this is not going to work if he's squirming around.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely where they got the ideas. I think in like that X-Files episode where the conjoined twin comes off and like does
How
shit.
old is the X-Files? Oh no.
Well, it's not this old.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what the fuck?
I'm saying the X-Files got the idea from this.
Okay. I thought you were saying it the other way around.
No, that would be
that's
ludicrous.
Crazy.
That would be ludicrous.
Yeah.
It could destroy an entire town.
Tell no soul what you're witnessing here.
A brand new X-Files.
Freeze!
Friday at 9, 8 Central.
No, it's a weird practical effect, and it's a mask, I think, at some point.
There's some stop motion.
Oh, yeah, the stop motion's interesting.
And that's weird. I don't like it, but I like that they were like, we have to show this thing not coming off of or behind, or like, we need to show it full. Like when you see Kermit's legs, and you're like, I'm not supposed to see this. This is terrible. Yeah.
What's weird, though, in the fact that there are like 3 different renditions of this creature, I think that some of them have to be larger than others. Oh. So, like, you get certain ones, you're like, that can't fit in that basket. And then, like, in the next scene, you're like, what's in that basket? And like, you can see it, because I think, like, you know, the puppety version or whatever is smaller or something. Yeah. But when you see it, like, eating chicken and shit, you're like, it's in the basket with room to move around and navigate chicken.
Take your time, there's plenty.
That doesn't, or burgers, whatever the fuck it is. That doesn't make sense.
He's like sliding in the, and just these weird noises of eating and
it's
stuff.
It's also like, how hungry could that thing be? He only ate 1 burger. Why is this little monster eat so much food?
That's the thing.
Where does it go?
He's eating. So like they're dancing around the edges. This reminds me of Scanners and Phantasm because of its age.
The visual look.
And yeah, like the look and the sound of it is like very, very, very old and like interesting and like whatever. But they're writing this line where it is like a medical horror thing, but it's also because why is it so hungry? Why is it thirst for blood? Why do its eyes light up? Like it must be.
They don't always light up too. No, it's like they start to light up.
What happens at the end? Like I'm throwing down now. I'm going to use my true powers. There's a line of dialogue like I don't even think that thing is human, and I'm like, well, that's just because it's gross. You don't really think it's a demon. Yeah. But then it's like, is it a demon? How is it holding him?
Yes, it lifts him up by his nuts.
It's crazy.
And it is a little creature. Yeah. So like even just to balance himself while lifting something up, it only must weigh, it can't weigh much because the brother carries him around.
And holding him off, yeah, exactly. The brother carries him around without straining, which is like not a, like that could just be like, that's the movie, it's fine, it's an empty basket most of the time. But still, like at the end I was like, and it's like holding him dangling over the streets for a while, which in movies people can hold people for some reason. Yeah. But still, I was like, is it a demon Belial sent from the thing to infiltrate?
I don't know.
Prepare
it has a look to
race.
it that is disturbing.
It has sharp teeth. Why would it have sharp teeth if it's shouldn't it be him if they're twins?
I don't know. It has looks that are similar to him, where I do wonder if they molded his face or did something. Yeah,
I would assume. I didn't do any research. But
no, of course.
I would hope / assume because I think that's what they would have thought. Like it's him. It's a little him. Like that would have been.
There's a drug dealer character in this movie that is hysterical, and I feel like he might be the best actor in the movie because he's the only person that has to like remember complex lines.
Rainbows, window pane, speed downs, second off, volume, mescaline, THC. I've got some good cocaine, Quaalude, beauties, methadone, cheaper, Panama.
His like soliloquy of drugs that he rambles off. You're like, what the fuck?
And it's like, I'll give you a menagerie of Molly. I'll give you a fucking collection of cocaine. I'll give you. Like,
wonderful.
It's weird rhyming slang. It's great. Yeah. And then he's like, man, screw you. I'm getting out of here anyway. You're not answering my question. And the guy's like, what is happening? What are you doing?
What do you want? Some girls? I got some nice girls. What the fuck is wrong with you anyway, man?
There's a few things because it's so old. This is off camera, but like they just hang on the guy saying the full sentence, and I'm like, that's great. These are great quotes where it's like, I don't believe this.
Get out of here! You're full of crap.
And then it just cuts, and I'm like, why is this happening? And out of context, you're like, what's going on?
Especially on editing on a lower budget here,
that's great.
Is that like, I had to go in there with the razor and cut that little bit off. I already glued it. I'm not doing that.
It's done already. It's wonderful.
I'm not taking your notes, chump.
The guy who
get that in the remaster.
The guy who's the hotel guy who like just like is Mario from Super Mario Brothers.
Couple of hours, couple of years. What? Give me a hint.
A few days.
Yeah. You by yourself?
It's like, this city's got the heck. Like he's doing his thing. I'm like, that's wonderful.
I love the like secretary lady at the doctor's office because I'm like, okay, A, she's like thirsty as fuck.
I want to be with you, Dwayne.
It's wonderful.
But B, she just goes off on these wild tangents and weird shit.
No,
Oh, what about the World Trade Towers? Or the trolley cars?
It's not that I don't want to, but...
The cloisters, Grandma's Chinese.
Literally.
Dwayne loved her too.
Listen, that chick and Casey, the chick who's like from the apartment, who's like something's going on with her too. I love that they picked these chicks who are like they're not like 19-year-old models. They're like and this is like shade, but they're like normal looking chicks because he's a goober ass dude. But they're all like, hey, what's in the basket? Oh, wouldn't you like to know? And they're flirting, but he doesn't know how to flirt. And both of these women have this air of being like, oh, he's defenseless. You're like, he's like stuck in their web or something, right? Which makes the whole thing of like, oh, the basket case is after you that much better. Where I'm like, okay, this is a nice, like, because he's harmless. He's literally harmless, and yet is like causing them so much danger, right? It's wonderful.
When Dwayne gets drunk and kind of like rambles off the whole,
he just tells her the whole thing.
Like, okay, but it is outlandish and crazy. So like, she's not like, oh yeah, you have a psychic like deformed twin. Oh, you're identical. Like that doesn't happen.
Oh, your psychic brother's in the basket. He can talk in your head. That's great, honey. Have another drink. I'm like, you're just trying to get him liquored up at home.
The basket's weird too. Like
why
to choose a wicker basket is strange.
With no handle,
and it has a lock, but it's a wicker basket. Like if you just opened it strongly, I think that would open.
You could just break it with your hands and open it. Yeah. Did you like that when the guy steals the like wicker basket, he has to open it, so he like kicks off the lock, like it's as if he has like a shotgun, like jink, and just knocks it off. And I'm like, it's a basket. You just go in this. What are you doing?
But he also didn't struggle to carry it, so that also further tells us that he's not very heavy.
Or yes, it proves that it's not a psychic link that's making him lighter. Yeah, it's just like whatever. Ugh.
Do you like the fact that there is a psychic link, that like he's talking to him in his head, but he's responding with actual words? I understand it's a movie narrative, but that's a little weird.
So I liked it on paper, because I liked it at first, when he was like, shut up, I'm trying to sleep.
For Christ's sake, shut up and let me get some sleep!
And you're like, oh, this motherfucker's crazy. But once you've met Mr. Basket Case, and once you've seen, because like in real life, he just screams constantly.
He's one note.
He's killing someone, and I thought the person he was killing was screaming, but then it cuts back and he's going, nah! I'm like screaming. I'm like, are they both screaming? Like, what's going on? There's so much going into all that. That like, yes, I was like, there's too many scenes of like Dwayne clowning around.
Yeah.
Being like, I can't do this. My head, like when he comes home to the hotel with the basket. You had to do this because I loved her, and you didn't want to do that, and I want to do. And he's just like staggering around and doing his best, like one-man show audition performance thing. Where I'm like, this is cringe as fuck. I don't like this.
Why him? Because I wanted her. You see what me? What's wrong with you? No.
Did you see the movie Malignant?
No.
I feel like they pulled
spoilers
like, a lot
for
from
Malignant.
This.
Okay.
Like it's not at all the same, but once you see it, you'll be like, oh yeah, I can see they were inspired by this.
Well,
let me know in the comments.
Malignant's on my list, but I figured we might do it here at some point. It's
possible.
So I never watch any movies, and that's my excuse.
Liable to.
That's all right. I like you drunk. You're cute when you slobber. Shit.
The monster itself is interesting. Because like at certain points, to present it for the shot, we sacrifice other aspects. So like when it's just like a lump attached to the wall, the eyes are just like, open, and it's just a thing, because it's just like a painted lump of paper mache.
It's a little squid.
Yeah. So then when it is just him like, just screaming like, it's off-putting in every way. Like on this way, it checks this box. Over here, it checks that box. But again, him being this beastly strong, like I claw your face, I put my hands in your mouth type of weirdo. Doors are knocked off hinges. You're like, what exactly is he doing?
Yeah, like they're showing us that something is going on, but we're like, I I don't know how to like interpret that. Should that be a part of why I'm scared? He's so strong and so little. Like what?
Because he's not sneaking around. You'd think that he'd be like, oh, I'm in your chest of drawers, and then you go to get a t-shirt, and bam, I pop out and I claw you. I got pointed teeth. But he's more like a gorilla. Like he comes at you strong. Like you know he's there.
He announces himself and then says, it is time to throw down.
Yeah.
Right?
That one guy got a chance to fire like every bullet in his gun. Like he could have died.
Oh my God, yeah, and then the flashback. We have to talk about the flashback, because there's a death in the flashback where I presume Belial has built like a device, like a spinning blade, or rigged it up to fall a certain way, right? What is that?
I don't know what that is.
In their basement? Like I was trying to be like, are they logging people? Is that a thing? What's happening?
Well, if you need a tour guide, I'd be happy to volunteer.
But the flashback's amazing. The flashback reminded me of The Kids in the Hall. Like, it looked like a skit where he's like, and now I'm told I have to have 2 names for it. This monster. It's not even human.
Yeah.
Like, something about the delivery, I could literally see several Kids in the Hall, like, doing it.
Child is a twisted lump of flesh, then she tells me I need 2 names for it. One for the child and one for the monster, as if I had 2 sons instead of 1 freak.
Like in my mind, and that was so, it makes it 10 times more absurd to me that like the serious part when you're like, oh, let's find out the dark, is like, that's equally silly. That's even sillier than the admittedly silly present day that we're in.
But like at the time, they were like, oh, it's so serious. I don't think it was received.
No. It's not meant to be a joke.
Goes over time. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. And but like it's not so old that was just serious acting back then. It's a weird. The tone is like, oh, it's weird.
Yeah, it's a strange thing whenever you see like the lower budget older movies that are of the outlandish nature, because you don't know where in the Venn diagram did this sit. Like, what was your intention versus what you got? Like,
were they like when like Auntie Gertrude comes in and says like, okay, the police are gone, and I'm like, you just wait, no, we just skipped the whole part, and it's like they don't know why your father's dead, but I'll take care of you, that's fine. And then it cuts to her like reading a story, someone's eating soup, and then it's like funeral, and you're like, wow, we are being super economical with these flashbacks. We need to be so tight.
I'm not going to ask you what really happened. I know that you and your brother have gone through hell. Everyone thinks Belial is dead now, and we'll let them. It's safer that way.
I don't even get, they show him like post-surgery, like there's like that big ass mark on him, like they were attached in a large way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like there's enough of a basket case around that he wasn't using some organs or something. And then the idea they just put him in the trash. This living creature is just in a trash bag. Not even the bin, just the bag.
He's supposed to be dying, though.
I guess.
They're supposed to feel like, oh, this is medical waste that has no hope or whatever. But they didn't even double bag it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, and like at that moment too, because that's where again like scanners or something, where something would happen, and I'd be like, wait, they're gonna operate on him in their house.
We're just going into the dining room, Dwayne. Now stop it.
This won't hurt, Dwayne. I promise you, this won't hurt.
Yeah. They're just doing it here. Like, I understand it's like, oh, the doctors won't do this. And I'm like, oh, no. And then in my head, to your point, I'm like, oh, that's because we can't afford to show a facility. Like, oh, wheeling you down a thing.
Or is this an illegal operation and it has to be done like a back alley abortion?
That's how they're playing it.
Yeah.
It is like, oh, the doctors have all said that I was the crazy one, but I know that I'm the sane one. I have to cut this living thing off of my son. That'll make him happy. Mm-hmm. And it worked fine, so I don't see what the big deal is.
Well,
all those doctors, eat shit. The surgery also had these terrible crunching noises. And I was just like, that's amazing. Like popping him off too.
When he brings him that TV and he's like, here, watch this, because he's going on a date, but doesn't like tune it to a channel, it's like between 2 channels. And like the first thing he does is like snap the knob off.
That's when I was like, what are we doing here, movie? What's happening? What are we watching? Is this a comedy? It's a comedy. It has to be a comedy.
The fact that we don't see Dwayne directly like controlling most aspects of his life, it doesn't seem like he's intelligent as a creature. Because at times he's just smashing rooms and screaming. He's supposed to be this, like, you know, I'm hidden in the basket. People don't know about me. But he just screams and bashes things until the whole world couldn't not know he's around.
Sounds like an animal.
There's a lot of bargaining where Dwayne has to be like, come on. Like, at one point he's like, oh, good, you were in the toilet. And they're talking.
He fits in the toilet.
I've helped you with everything so far, haven't I? Killing Lifflander was your idea. Coming to New York to get the other two was your idea.
Like, that doesn't make sense either.
He's like a squid. He compresses down. He can fit into anything that his beak can fit through.
I would actually love that.
So I also thought that the whole thing, not a dream, but I thought maybe Basket Case didn't exist. I thought that Dwayne was killing everyone and imagining, I thought the whole twist ending was going to be the basket's empty. Like there's never been a basket case. Or the case of the basket is, right? And then you'd have flashbacks of him like putting scalpels into her face.
No, he is the basket case. He's crazy. That would be a very good twist.
It's a double entendre, you see. Instead of him like bloody stump fucking the receptionist later. What's happening? His eyes glow. His eyes are glowing, and he's like looking out, out the window. Where I'm like, is he signaling his home planet? Like, what's happening? What am I looking at?
What else glows?
What direction are we going in? Yes, but I would have liked a really pretentious, really goofy twist where later you'd be like, but wait, that guy died. How could that? What's going on? But it's fine. It's like, okay, listen, you just do a flashback where he's like sneaking and I'm stabbing a guy.
No, it'd be like, listen, we didn't really think about this twist until we were done filming it. They said maybe you can make it better, and they said make a twist.
That would honestly make me very happy. You're just like, it's impossible. It's like, it's the best. This is an impossible twist. Yeah.
So them having the ability to talk back and forth is like one thing, but then feeling each other's pain, like that classic twin thing, that was kind of interesting, but done like in a really goofy way.
It's all done in a goofy way.
Well, it's a goofy movie.
Do you mean when he's out on the date and Blyle's killing someone and he goes, oh!
Or the opposite, when he's like, oh, I'm kissing. He's just screaming.
Oh, I didn't even read it that way. That's awesome. So
I think he's like, you're happy without me?
There's a part where he goes to the receptionist and he's like, hey, meet me tomorrow at a place. And they're like whispering.
Why are we whispering?
I don't want him to hear.
Who? The doctor?
I'll see you later.
But then he gets drunk and is 100% clear. Oh, he can read my thoughts. I can't keep any secrets from him. And you're like, what?
But he can still do it to me. In fact, he's even better at it now. He always knows what I'm thinking.
Dwayne, you're giving me the creeps.
Why are you whispering? Again, I don't demand that every character always act perfectly, but it seems like the only things Dwayne knows are the rules of Basket Case, and he's fucking it up still.
Yeah, and you can understand why Basket Case would kill everything that, because like it would be very easy to move on to a bigger and better than him. He's a monster in a fucking box. Right. Like facts. I'm dropping hot fire over here.
I would find him a little Basket Case lady, and then we'd all live happily
the odds
ever
of that
after.
would be very difficult.
Well, that's why the sequel is a crazy doctor trying to create a Basket Case lady. Lady with a bow, like Miss Pac-Man with a bow up in its head.
Bride of Basket Case.
Oh, there you go.
When it's in the bed like a horse's head and it's just to scare her, that's hysterical. Killing the vet is like hilarious.
That changed my life.
What's in the basket?
It's so good. Just her face and she's like just acting to the camera.
When her face is full of scalpels, right?
That is where it the crescendo.
That's what
everything leading up to that I thought was hysterical. And then I was like, what?
Because he's like pushing her towards an open drawer full of scalpels.
Yeah.
It's also hilarious that she's like, must reach drawer full of scalpels. Like they're just loose. Like someone's
just like screaming and looking into the camera for a while.
Yeah, they're just someone's like drunk drawer. But then it's like implied what must have happened, which is impossible from just shoving someone's face in a drawer. But they're all like driving in at different places, like in this exact pattern. And yeah, she screams into the camera with scalpels attached to her face for what feels like minutes. And it's life-alteringly amazing. It's great. It's 10 out of 10. It changed my life.
Why is he naked and running down the street?
So that sentence started out really promising, where I was going to be like, well, they don't make clothes for a basket case? What do you mean? Yeah, that was wild too, because he's having a nightmare, and in nightmares you have to be naked.
I get like you have the nightmare, like I'm in school and I'm naked or whatever, but he's just like on an actual street that I'm sure they're not permitted to use.
No, and somebody must have just been like, you know what's really twisted and dreamlike? You're fucking dick. Get out there. Like, what the fuck? Why is he naked? And it's so like whatever 70s style naked too, where it's like, I'm like, oh, what am I looking at? Why is this happening? And that goes on for a long time too. That's like a theme. When something happens where you're like, dear Lord, did I really see that? And you're like, well, it's been...
I went to the bathroom and came back and it's still happening. So
it's
yeah,
like,
I guess I
was right. Yeah. These should be things that are so quick, you blink and you miss them. And it's like,
I would just pull those things out.
No, just a little nudity is fine.
Was the lady, the secretary, wearing a wig?
You're next.
Ooh.
Was that her hair?
You're just throwing so much shade on this chick. It's great.
Well, no, that's not shade.
No.
That's like a legit question. Because either her hair is so perfect, it looks like a wig, or it's a weird choice to like, she should wear a wig. We wanted a redhead or whatever, so fuck it, give her a wig.
No, I don't know.
It like in parts, it's like covering so many parts of her face that like she's just coming through a little bit, and I'm.
Oh God, Dwayne, something awful's happened.
What? Tell me.
I've been with the police all morning.
What is this?
Like you're wearing a parka.
Kinda.
What's going on? Okay, I don't remember that. I want to emphasize that I liked her look a lot, though.
Yeah.
But that it is insulting as well, because I'm like, oh, she wasn't one of those stereotypical, way too hot to be like whatever.
It's also like,
but it's the time
period.
Yeah, exactly.
It like throws the whole thing. We're like, how old are you? She's like, I'm 19. You're like, oh my God.
No, you're somewhere. Yeah, exactly. Everyone.
You were 43.
You're like somewhere between 17 and 70. I don't know.
You said she had a milfy look. She said, I'm in high school. And you're like, what?
It's like this barely legal gilf over here. Exactly.
First I got dizzy, then I couldn't breathe. Then my throat felt like it was on fire.
Well, you make sure and tell all this to the doctor.
He falls out the window with the basket case. You mentioned them hanging from the pole. I love like the hookers doing their work like, oh my God, look at that.
That's more that New York thing I'm talking about. Like, batteries not included, where you're like, who are these New Yorkers? You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. You're like, yeah.
That's how the apartment, or
it's
I
awesome.
feel like it's an apartment complex, but it's a hotel. But like, they're all like extended stay.
It has
random things.
There's a vibe where it's like, oh, we're like a weird family. And like, when there's like commotions, it's like the lady comes out with the rollers in her hair, and
well, no one came out of here. I've been standing here all the time, all the while it was being wrecked. Someone's got to be in here. Unless they climbed out the window, because this just doesn't make any sense.
And a dude just like in a suit. I'm like, it is the middle of the night. What's happening? Don't ask questions. It's New York, baby. That's showbiz. I'm like, yeah, I love that. I actually love that.
There's a weird part where halfway up the stairs, the lady just tells her like the life story of some old rich broad who used to live there.
And one day, she appeared in the lobby dressed in furs and jewels, said she was leaving to tour the world. She paid her bill and left. No one's heard from her since.
What movie am I watching?
There's a lot of like, it's like a video game or like an RPG where someone like, oh, I guess I have to fucking
triggered an NPC.
I have to click through all this fucking dialogue and get at it. I'm just trying to get to the lobby to figure out what my next quest is.
Where's the basket?
What's happening? I forgot the basket. Give me the case.
Yeah. It's like a fun movie. I wouldn't say like this is a great movie. There is a sequel to this.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no.
There might be more than one actually. There's at least one. But like this is like that kind of fun old goofy movies, and I think the things that are weird that like would not be in a movie today are those weird eccentric side characters that have just so much dialogue that is not pertaining to the movie. It's like the opposite of that rule, like oh, you never, are there two girls that talk about something that's not a guy? This is like, do random people talk about something that's not related to the movie for at least half the movie's length?
Just like do.
Like that's what it feels like.
It did feel, I want to emphasize that too, is that like the vibes where I was like, yes. Because it does suck, I think, but I would say I like enjoyed it, and like I'm nostalgic in a weird way, I guess, for this city that I never saw in my life or something, like whatever it is, 70s New York with the whole like, hey,
before Giuliani cleaned up all the hookers.
Before Giuliani ruined it. Giuliani got rid of all of this culture, okay?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Wiener?
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
What's in the basket?
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinion